Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Solehatun Nadila. I'm class 2C. I'm from Majority Islamic Education Management. My supporting lecturer, Mr. Nuardi MED. Okay, I will explain about material title, main clause and subclause, sentence with more than one clause and or but so etc. Slide number 1. Type of clause. A main clause is a clause that makes sense on its own and can also exist in a sentence on its own. The simple subject is the who, what, or where that comprises the main focus of the sentence. For a sentence to be complete rather than a fragment, it must include a main clause. In English grammar, a main clause, also known as an independent clause, subordinate clause, or base clause, is a group of words made up of a subject and a predicate that together express a complete concept. A. We can use and to join to main clause. Example: the man went up the 66th floor and he jumped. B. We can also use or but and so in coordinate clauses. Example: we can take a taxi or we can wait for a bus. C. The who clauses can be separate sentence. Example: the man went up the 88th floor and he jumped. D. And or and but can also join phrases or word. Example: the partner and the interviewer but had a after that. Number 2. Subclauses. A subordinate clause is a clause that does not make sense on its own and cannot be a sentence on its own. The subordinate clause explains or completes the meaning in the main clause. Two main clauses are joined by and but or. Subordinate clauses will often begin with subordinating conjunction, which are words that link dependent clause to independent clause, such as for, as, since, therefore, hence, consequently. A. Sometimes one clause can be part of another. Example: a glass of wine cooked him as he fell. Number 3. Finite and non-finite clauses. A. Finite clause has a main verb. Example: he regrets now that he jumped. B. A non-finite clause has an infinitive. Example: to tell you the truth, I was terrified. Tenses in subclauses. Sequence of tenses. The verb in a subclause is usually in the same tense as the verb in the main clause. Example: even some people who have tickets aren't able to get into the stadium. Verb after wish. A. Wish or would. I wish people wouldn't leave this door open. B. Wish past tense or could. I wish I had more safer time. The unreal present and past. A. Compare this sentence. Past simple: suppose we were rich. Past perfect: I wish I had reserved a seat. The subjunctive. The subjunctive mood is one of 3 moods in English grammar. The subjunctive mood is for expressing wishes, suggestion, or desires and is usually indicated by a verb. Example: the committee recommended that the same go ahead. Example of subjunctive in a sentence: I wish it were Friday. And or but, so, etc. Summary. Number 1. We can use a conjunction to link two main clauses together in a sentence. Example, Tom had no food and he had to pay the rent. Number 2. We can use an adverb or a prepositional phrase to link the meaning of two main clauses or two sentences. Example, Tom had no food and he also had to pay the rent. Word the meaning and. So word meaning but, word meaning or, the last word meaning so. Number 1. Word meaning and. Example, we can use and to link two clauses. Anthony was a boxer and he lectured on Shakespeare. Number 2. Word meaning or. We can or to express an alternative either or is more emphatic. Example, you can go right or live. Number 3. Word meaning but. 1. As well as the conjunction but, we can use the adverb to. Example, we found an information century, but it was closed. Number 2. We can also use the adverbs however and nevertheless. Example, only sick people, however, lost their lives. The last number, word meaning so. Number 1. We use so to express a result. Example, it has rained for days and so the ground is very dry. Number 2. We can also use the adverbs as a result, consequently, and its consequence. Example, the rocket crashes as the result of or in consequence of a computer error. I love you all. Thanks for your attention and finally say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.